sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. The Secret Service is investigating after a U-Haul truck crashed near the White House overnight. And a suspect is dead after a bank robbery led to a police standoff in Ohio Monday. Plus, a fake image of a Pentagon explosion sent jitters through the stock market. We have this story and more straight ahead.
Getting all the way up to the 90s this week. You'll hear about that and more in the full forecast.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Adarius McCormick. Today is the 23rd day of May 2023.
And the time is just about 6:31 on your Tuesday morning. And on this day in 2000, American rapper Eminem released the Marshall Mathers LP. Wow, love that album. We have a question of the day just for the occasion. And let's go ahead and get a look at that forecast.
All right. Well, right now we're looking at 70 degrees in the area, probably about 68, 69, but we're looking at 100% of humidity. And that's probably going to continue throughout the week. Looking right now at our satellite and radar, it's going to be mostly clear throughout the week. So what you're seeing now is probably going to be the trend from now until Friday. Looking at Plan My Day, looking at 71 degrees for 7 a.m. But the sun is starting to come out, so it'll get a little warmer going up until noon. It'll get up to 85, and going into 4 p.m. we're getting up to 89. And we're peaking today at 90, 91. We're definitely going to crack that 90 today. It's going to get pretty warm. And for those kids, it's the last week of school. I know you're excited, so make sure you're wearing some light clothing for a field day because it's going to be pretty warm when you get off that bus, getting up to 87 degrees later. And now we're taking a look at the marine forecast. High tide is 2:01 p.m. Low tide is 2:21 a.m. We got a few winds getting up southeast, getting up to 5 to 9 knots. Seas 1 foot or less, bays smooth, and we're looking at our water temperature 80 degrees. So if you want to go fishing, I would say this week is a great week to go fishing. So as Gino says, grab those poles, Crossroads. Carolina, I'm sending it back to you.
Thank you, Adarius. A U-Haul truck crashed through security barriers around Lafayette Square across the street from the White House Monday night. The crash happened just before 10 p.m. At least one person is in custody. It is unknown if that person is the driver of the truck. A robot could be seen opening the back of the truck. Authorities say they are investigating a suspicious package. Several hotels in the area were put on lockdown. Authorities say there were no injuries to any Secret Service or White House personnel. The cause of the crash is under investigation. It is unclear if the crash was intentional. We'll go to Washington for a closer look at the incident later on Sunrise. We turn now to that fake image that spread so quickly online yesterday. It rattled stocks on Wall Street. It appears to be an early lesson in the power of artificial intelligence.
This morning, a new look at the potential impact of AI-generated images after a fake picture appeared to rattle Wall Street.
A simple AI-generated fake image sparked about a $100 billion stock market move.
Yesterday, numerous Twitter accounts shared this fake image showing smoke billowing near a white building, leading some to believe an explosion occurred near the Pentagon when in fact no such incident took place. While ABC News has not determined the source, the image contains the hallmarks of being made with artificial intelligence.
We talk all the time about social media platforms. Every story is flattened. You can't tell where it comes from or who is producing it. This is a perfect case in point.
The image was first posted on Twitter at 8:42 a.m. At 10:03, a Russian state-controlled news outlet tweeted the image to its millions of followers. The stock market took a dip over the next several minutes until 10:09, when authorities made it clear there was no explosion. Experts have warned of hyper-realistic fake images deceiving people online as the accessibility of AI-powered tools grows.
This is only the smallest effect that can only grow. So what we're seeing today is only a small example of what is to come as this grows in complexity.
Industry leaders have pointed to AI's ability to solve problems quickly, and the technology has already contributed to medical research. But last week, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, urged lawmakers to act quickly to regulate artificial intelligence.
My worst fears are that we, the field, the technology, the industry, cause significant harm to the world.
Many of the Twitter accounts that spread the hoax carried blue check marks, which previously meant that the accounts were verified. But under new owner Elon Musk, Twitter now gives a blue check to any account that pays a monthly fee. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
A suspect is dead after a bank robbery led to a police standoff in Ohio Monday. Authorities say it started around 1:30 p.m. when the Fifth Third Bank in Reading was robbed at gunpoint. The suspect retreated to a nearby residence. Officers responded to the scene to contain the residents until the Hamilton County SWAT team arrived. While police were waiting for SWAT to respond, the suspect appeared at the back door of the residence and pointed a firearm at officers. An officer fired one round, striking the suspect in the upper body. The suspect, 34-year-old Michael Craddock, then retreated back to the residence a short time later. The SWAT team entered the residence and found Craddock dead from an apparent gunshot wound. The incident is under investigation. A bond is set at $30,000 for a man accused of stalking in Victoria. We first brought you this story yesterday on Sunrise. Here is the suspect, 66-year-old Wood Brown. Brown is accused of stalking a woman several times over the weekend, starting Friday morning. Police caught up with him Sunday night near Laurent and Airline and arrested him on charges. He remains in the Victoria County Jail. A man is headed back to prison after admitting to violating the terms of his probation. 46-year-old Jason January received the maximum sentence for each offense and will now serve a 62-year sentence. In April, the 46-year-old pled guilty to a number of sex crimes involving children. Police responded to a disturbance at Silvermine Apartments a little after 10 p.m. last night. Police say a woman claims a man was knocking at her door and trying to break into her apartment. When officers got to the scene, they say they encountered a man in his 20s outside of the woman's home. After an investigation, the man was arrested on charges of burglary of a habitation with the attempt to commit an assault. No further details on the incident are provided at this time. The time is now 6:37 on your Tuesday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. Firefighters are making progress on Alberta's wildfires thanks to some much-needed rain. Plus, we'll take a closer look at last night's security scare in Washington, D.C.
It's getting red hot today. Look at that, getting up to 89. Hear about that and more in the full forecast when we're back. Welcome back. We're looking at our current wind speeds. Pretty calm, pretty light winds throughout the region, and that probably will continue throughout the week. Looking at current temperatures around the state, looking at 68 at Victoria, Houston 73, San Antonio 71. So pretty much the same, probably mid-60s up to mid-70s throughout the state, but it will get warmer today. Right now we're looking at 70s, it's as high as 76 in Port O'Connor, but it'll continue to warm up getting into this afternoon, this evening, getting up to 89 in Beeville, 89 in Goliad, 89 in Victoria, and the trend will continue. It'll cool down a little bit in the morning, but getting up to Wednesday afternoon, we're looking at 90 in Beeville, 87 in Goliad, 87 in Victoria. So make sure you're dressing pretty light because it's some sweaty days ahead of us. I'll tell you more about that in the full forecast. Carolina, back to you.
Thank you, Adarius. Breaking overnight, a U-Haul truck crashes into barriers near the White House. It caused a massive law enforcement response with some area businesses put on lockdown. The driver was detained, and Secret Service now say this may have been an intentional act.
Overnight, tense moments in the nation's capital. Police say the driver of this U-Haul truck rammed into security barriers protecting Lafayette Park just yards from the White House in what may have been an intentional act. Video then shows the truck ramming the barrier a second time.
I think at first I was just in shock.
This was Benjamin Berger's first night in D.C. He says he heard the crash and then saw people running.
Thought maybe it was just an accident, and then the U-Haul backed up and rammed it again. And at that point, it didn't move. And then that's when the Secret Service police converged on it.
Another witness was walking in Lafayette Square at the time.
And the truck cut right in front of the path that I was going to take onto the sidewalk. So this was probably no more than 25 feet in front of me. My first thought was a medical emergency.
The driver is in custody and facing charges. Sources tell ABC News the truck has been cleared for explosives. Overnight, Secret Service cordoned off a multi-block perimeter surrounding the White House and park. The Washington Post reports the historic Hay Adams Hotel was even evacuated at request of Secret Service. The driver is facing multiple charges, including assault with a dangerous weapon, destruction of federal property, and threatening to harm the president. No word yet on any motive. Lindsay Watts, ABC News, Washington.
Leading us to your viewer poll, do you think the crash near the White House was intentional? Okay, let's take a look. 83% of you say yes, and the rest of you say no. Thank you for taking part in today's viewer poll. Firefighters are making progress on Alberta's wildfires thanks to some much needed rain Monday. Of the 81 fires burning, 23 are still considered out of control and 10,000 people were evacuated. Authorities say this wildfire season is the most active on record. More than 2.3 million acres of land have burned. While firefighters are glad to see the rain, they stress that this is a long-term fight and a few days of rain will help, but it's not enough to extinguish these fires. The time is now 6:43 on your Tuesday morning. Still to come, a Parkland school resource officer gets set for trial as Uvalde prepares to mark a year since its mass shooting. Okay, time to celebrate some birthdays. Happy birthday to Ollie. Happy 6th birthday to our beautiful baby girl. We love you. Love Momo and Popo.
And the happiest birthday to Gracie. Happy 8th birthday, Bug. Momo and Popo love you.
And happy birthday to Jewel. The singer-songwriter is 49 today.
To see your birthday wish live on 25 News Now Sunrise, come to crossroadstoday.com, click on more, and under home, you'll see KAVU submit your birthday.
All right, and happy birthday if you're celebrating one today. The time is now 6:44 on your Tuesday morning. We'll be right back. And now it's time for today's question of the day. On this day in 2000, Eminem released Marshall Mathers, the Marshall Mathers LP. What was the lead single from the chart-topping album? Like us on Facebook, Crosswords Today. Post your guess to today's question, and we'll have the answer later on Sunrise.
We're taking a look at our future tracker right now. We're looking at Tuesday at 11. It's going to be pretty dry throughout the day. We won't see any clouds until we get to about Wednesday morning. We'll see some clouds come our way, but it will still be dry going into Wednesday evening. So we're looking at clear skies, some sun mostly today and tomorrow. Looking at today, 91 degrees, mostly sunny. It's going to be clear. Seeing some light winds, and the light winds will continue going into tonight. It'll be mostly clear. We'll get down to 70 degrees, so it'll be a little cool, but the heat will come back as we go into tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're getting up to 90 degrees, so we're definitely going to crack that 90 today and tomorrow, and we're seeing some southeast winds getting up to 10 miles per hour, but they'll be fairly soft, fairly light winds, so mostly clear, mostly sunny. It'll be completely hot, and we're getting down to our 7-day forecast. It's mostly going to be hot throughout the week, and we have a small chance of rain, but I'll talk about that later as I get more into the full 7-day forecast. Carolina, I'm sending it to you.
Thank you, Adarius. Now to the case of a former school police officer charged with failing to respond to the massacre of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida. The former officer spoke yesterday, just days before his trial begins.
This morning, the former sheriff's deputy and school resource officer accused of standing back and failing to confront the gunman during the 2018 Parkland, Florida school massacre is preparing for his trial set to begin next week.
Mixed emotions. You know, it's tough. I wouldn't want any law enforcement officer in this country to experience this.
Scott Peterson faces multiple counts of child neglect for not entering the building where the attack was unfolding. 14 students and 3 staff members were killed. First order of business before the trial, jury selection, and a key decision by the judge whether to allow jurors to visit the school, which is still preserved as a crime scene. Peterson's lawyer wants jurors to hear what he describes as an echo outside the school, which he says factored into Peterson's decision to take cover during the shooting.
The only way to appreciate that is to physically be there.
Legal analysts say this is a first-of-its-kind case, applying child neglect charges, viewing a school resource officer as a caregiver.
Have a difficult case here. It is not an open and shut case. There's a lot open for interpretation.
Meanwhile, 1,400 miles away in Texas, tomorrow marks 1 year since the Uvalde school massacre, where 19 students and 2 teachers lost their lives. Uvalde's mayor yesterday acknowledged the lingering questions about the delayed law enforcement response that day.
We realize you still don't have the answers that you need, and it's frustrating to all of us. For that, I apologize.
He says officials are close to finalizing an agreement that would allow the city's investigator to access police records to determine if any officers should be disciplined. And Uvalde's mayor also says plans are moving forward to demolish the crime scene. Robb Elementary. Derek Dennis, ABC News.
Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. At least 9 people hurt during a shooting at a party in Louisiana Sunday night. time for today's question of the day. On this day in 2000, Eminem released Marshall Mathers, the Marshall Mathers LP. What was the lead single from the chart-topping album? Okay, Adarius, we have guesses. Luke is guessing The Real Slim Shady. Janet's guessing My Name Is. She also says good morning. Kenneth says The Real Slim Shady or My Name Is. And Leticia says My Name Is.
Some pretty good guesses, but the answer is The Real Slim Shady.
Ah,
yeah.
Such a great album, great artist.
I love that song. That's
a little
a great
controversial,
song.
a little explicit.
A little bit.
But true artist.
Yes, I love it so much.
Well, thank you for taking part in our question of the day. We'll have another one for you tomorrow. At least 9 people were hurt during a shooting at a party Sunday night in Louisiana. Police say it happened around 9:30 p.m. in the Marydale subdivision of Thibodaux. A gathering started small and was being held in the neighborhood to celebrate recent graduation and May birthdays. The party soon swelled to several hundred people. 5 women and 2 men were hurt, all between the ages of 17 and 25. Another 2 women were hurt as they ran for cover. Police say they believe the shooting may have stemmed from an argument between at least 2 people there. At least 2 people fired shots at the Sunday night graduation party. So far, all but one of the victims was released from the hospital. Authorities say everyone is expected to make a full recovery. Caught on camera, a 4-year-old dropped from a border barrier in California. The U.S. Border Patrol shared this video on Twitter. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says someone who was entering the country illegally about half a mile east of the San Isidro port of entry dropped the child last Monday. First responders rushed to seek and give aid to the injured boy, but when they arrived, they say they were confronted by supposed gunfire. They also said that their helicopter responded to provide air cover. Responding agents and emergency personnel then provided care for the child. Authorities are now investigating the incident and trying to identify the suspects involved. Federal prosecutors have issued subpoenas to the Trump Organization regarding its business deals in foreign countries. The New York Times reports investigators are seeking information about real estate deals in China, France, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, the UAE, and Oman. The time period covers the years former President Donald Trump was in the White House. One source says prosecutors are zeroing in on business dealings with countries that were probably interested in the classified materials found at Mar-a-Lago. At the time, the Trump Organization claimed it would not strike new business agreements with foreign countries while Trump was in office. The Trump Organization did not respond to CNN's request for comment. Kari Lake has lost the final court battle in a bid to overturn Arizona's gubernatorial election. On Monday, a Maricopa County judge threw out Republican Kari Lake's final legal claim to overturn her defeat in the election 6 months ago. Superior Court Judge Peter Thompson says Lake's attorneys failed to show clear and convincing evidence of misconduct by the Maricopa County Elections Department in verifying early ballot signatures for the 2022 election. He confirmed Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs is the winner of that gubernatorial election. Lake, a former TV anchor, lost last year's race by just over 17,000 votes to Hobbs. And here is the current river flood warning posted for the Crossroads from the National Weather Service. In Victoria and Calhoun counties, the river flood warning is in effect until further notice for the Guadalupe River near Bloomington. And the bridge at Farm to Market Road 1686 at Lone Tree Creek will close for construction in June. That's in Victoria County. TxDOT is beginning a new project to replace the existing bridge. Construction is expected to take about 7 months. Drivers are urged to seek alternate routes. FM 1686 at Draw will also close in June due to that bridge replacement. That roadway is expected to close for 1 week. And we want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and on your cell phone. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And we have time for a final check of our forecast with Adarius.
Thank you, Carolina. We're looking at 91 degrees today. We're cracking 90 Wednesday. We're getting up to 88 throughout the rest of the week. 20% a chance of rain on Thursday. Pretty small chance, might be some stray showers, but it'll keep the clouds here throughout the week. But once we get to Monday, those clouds will be gone. It'll be pretty hot and humid throughout the week, so dress really light. We're getting down to the 70s, but that'll be throughout the night. So you'll be cool at night, but don't get too comfortable because when you wake up in the morning, it'll be warm again. So just be prepared for some hot weather from up until Monday, and hopefully the trend will continue. We'll continue to see some wind up until next week. Carolina, back to you.
Thank you, Adarius. It looks like we'll get some relief from all of that rainfall that caused the river levels to rise. So that's good news for us. Thank you, Adarius. And thank you for joining us. Hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. Don't forget it's National Taffy Day if you're interested in treating yourself to something sweet. And come to crossroadstoday.com for more local news, weather, and sports. And be sure to join James, Don, Maclovia, Karina, and Gina today for 25 at 5, 6, and 10.